Hey everybody, welcome to Geekout Freakout. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Spencer.
This week we are going to be going over comic book news and then right into video gaming news, as the meat of our podcast is going to be all about E3, which happened this week. Before we get into all the details of E3, I like when websites do this. Who won E3 this year, Spencer?
Anyone except consumers.
Who lost E3?
Consumers. I don't know, man. It was, we'll get into it, but it was probably the most underwhelming week of
It was a disappointing
news.
E3. We usually really look forward to it and have a blast, and this year was a pretty big letdown, all things considered.
Yeah, I remember coming to speak with you just a few times, and we would try to go over E3 stuff, and I would realize that, oh man, I completely stopped paying attention at one point to this press conference, or I completely stopped refreshing my page because I stopped thinking that there was going to be any good news for me. So we'll tell you why.
I think Sony won it.
I think Sony was the only one that made it out of there without me actively disliking them,
Yeah.
which is, I suppose, a form of victory.
And for sure, I think Bethesda lost it.
Oh, man.
2 words, paid mods.
Paid mods.
Paid fucking mods.
They're trying it again.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Redo, hyper remix, paid mods, deluxe edition.
I can't believe... I wondered why Pete Hines had that look on his face from the get-go. I was like, man, he looks like he just now caught the stomach flu.
Yeah. he was only on stage for all of 5 minutes. At the beginning, he just kind of... Okay, here's some footage.
Okay,
and then
guys,
an hour later, okay, the footage is done. Thanks, guys. Bye.
It really had an era of, when he first came out, he was like, oh, I can hear you guys are really excited. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I just coughed beer all over my desk.
Oh my god, you're a mess.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna grab a paper towel.
It's all right. That night, Pete Hines was crying into his many beers. So,
Oh god, I gotta get cleaned up. I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna edit this out. Don't tell any jokes. All right, back to it. I don't know why I thought that line was so funny. It wasn't even all that funny.
yeah, I'm proud of myself for that one. It's like my B game.
So, comic book movies. The reshoots for Justice League are going on under the guidance of Joss Whedon. Some set photos came out, and they appear to show Themyscira, hinting at a possible Wonder Woman flashback. Gotham City, hinting at maybe the fact that Gotham City wasn't even in the movie to begin with. Which
Yeah,
seems
I
weird.
know.
Like they didn't already have a Gotham City set.
That's my knee-jerk reaction, is that Joss walked into the room and he was like, okay, so show me the Gotham City art. And, what?
We're not
doing
go to
it.
Gotham.
Yeah, Snyder didn't want it. He didn't want to do it.
But I think the biggest thing is also some set photos that appear to resemble the front of the Hall of Justice, which I feel like a lot of people will recognize from the Super Friends television series, right?
Yeah.
Like every time. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, pew, 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 those 3 little starburst lights and the transitions.
That's an iconic sound effect, too.
I really hope that it is the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool fucking addition. And of course, Joss Whedon would have that as an addition to the movie.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, is that it seems as if he has a bit more confidence when it comes to just directly adapting things, saying, this is what people would like to see, so let's just do it straight up. Let's just put it in there. And from the footage that we've seen and the films that we've seen come out of the DC universe, largely from Zack Snyder in some form or another, it's been a lot of just kind of pivoting away from that ever so slightly. Not anything, I think, necessarily like the Nolan films, where a lot of things were unrecognizable. But I think it makes more sense for Josh to come in. I think it lends credence to the fact that it is probably the Hall of Justice. Is knowing that Joss has recently come onto it. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think that they couldn't have found anybody better now to be kind of overseeing their movies. Obviously, what he did for the Avengers was amazing.
Absolutely.
Even though it was just as simple as well, how about we just put them in their costumes?
I don't know. Joss also has the ability, like, it reminds me of in older movies that were dramas, but people could, still throw a pie or two. Like, Joss is perfect at putting
He's okay
in
with having fun.
Yeah, these little one-liners that are like, yeah, let's break us up with some levity and, also all of these bright colors, and, it lends itself well to be humorous when, it's feels natural to do so. And he's better at it, I think, than anybody else when it comes to that kind of thing.
For sure. The Wonder Woman Themyscira, I think, is hinting at a flashback. And what I think is that, coupled with the fact that we'd seen that article before we started, the Aquaman Funko Pop figure.
Yes.
That had the mother box in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Mother boxes are basically like they're the the cosmic cube, the Tesseract from the Avengers, right? It's like a fucking plot device.
Sure.
Is all it is. But I think that there's
special box.
Yeah. I think that there's going to be it's like so many were sent to Earth long ago, and one is in possession of Aquaman being protected in Atlantis, and another is in that tower we saw in Wonder Woman where they had all those magical artifacts. Yeah, so that the Amazons have been protecting it for centuries or however long.
Okay, so we found DC's Infinity Stones.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I'm sure that basically Steppenwolf, who has been confirmed as the villain,
I started laughing.
Steppenwolf is going to come in on his magic carpet ride. Is that the right band? Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't fuck that reference up.
Congratulations.
But Steppenwolf is the brother of Darkseid, and basically I'm sure he's coming to try to get all the mother boxes to get Darkseid there.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're all very excited to see what color his ball of energy attack is at the end of the movie.
Yeah, right. It's good. Well, it's going to be a big blue beam shooting up into the sky.
Oh, yeah.
That's always what it is. And then, debris and tornado around it for some reason.
Right. No, there's usually just an outward explosion of energy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
We got it in Wonder Woman, got it in Batman vs. Superman.
I guess you're right. In DC, it's not always blue. It was in Wonder Woman, but it was orange.
It was orange in Batman
vs. Superman.
Yeah. Because everything else was blue, so something had to be orange.
It was like bluish purple in Suicide Squad, I think. It wasn't like a bright blue.
Okay.
But Suicide Squad had it in there.
Okay. Same, it matches the Lamborghini. I like it.
Oh, God. We also got some news about Spider-Man. So I saw an article.
News is
very loose. I saw an article that was like the Spider-Man movie trilogy because Tom Holland did slip. We were talking about that at work. Tom Holland slipped up and was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing 3 movies." Oh, sorry, Marvel. Fuck you guys. What are you gonna do? Fire me? I love that. That's his attitude.
That he's Peter Parker about being Peter Parker.
Oh, hello. We all making 3 movies. He's British.
I know.
That's my British.
That was a bit.
He's like a little British boy.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, he's a little British boy.
Do you think
all little British boys are Oliver?
All British boys are Oliver Twist.
Yeah, unless they're bad guys, in which case they're the Artful Dodger. And then it would have been more like, "Well, hello, Marvel," or not Marvel. "Hello, everybody. We're doing 3 movies." I don't care what Marvel Studios say. You can't fool me now. But anyways,
I'm so
so they confirmed that they're doing 3 movies. What also happened was there was like a alternate reality game, an ARG, that led to like a website that had a bunch of shit that you had to click on. And one of the names mentioned was a Mrs. Warren, and this is a character who, according to IMDb at least, is in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Okay.
As, I guess, one of Peter's teachers. Mm-hmm. So they put 2 and 2 together, and they got 17, and they said, well, Mrs. Warren could be related to a Mr. Warren, the true identity of the villain, the Jackal, who was important in the Spider-Man Clone Saga plotline. Everybody's favorite.
You all know it and love it.
I think it's one of the most hated comic lines in Spider-Man, like, with the exception of, what was it called when he fucking erases his entire marriage and sells his soul to literally the devil. One More Day, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no fucking way that the movie trilogy is going to be the Clone Saga. That has like a dozen Spider-Men all running around. They're all clones. Ben Reilly and what's the fucking one? The one's name. It's just like one, Kane. It's like Kaine. Just one name.
That's good.
Right. And that's like the armored Spider-Man, the one that's in like the silver armor.
Yeah.
And the Scarlet Spider, which I really like the character design for the Scarlet Spider. If you remember that from the 90s, like he's wearing like a denim hoodie that has like the sleeves cut off and the spider logo looks like it's like spray painted on, kind of cockeyed.
Yeah. There was an episode of the Spider-Man, or I guess a few episode runs.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they did the Clone Saga.
Yeah, everybody fucking get in here, and there was a Spider-Man who didn't have any powers, and he was all scared.
But yeah, if you guys saw that article as like clickbait pop up on Facebook and clicked it and are thinking to yourselves, oh yeah, maybe they're doing the Clone Saga, you're wrong. It's never going to happen. That would be the worst fucking mistake. That's a convoluted mess. And they would never adapt that to fucking film. Maybe in like 15, 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. But even then, there's so much that they could do, and that's not even accounting for the fact that they would want to do the same storylines again because reboot. Just because.
I think we'll get the X-Men movies doing the Savage Lands before we get Marvel doing the Clone Saga as a movie.
Now, for the record, the Savage Lands movie is happening, and it will be incredible. Don't get me wrong.
At some point, they're running out of ideas quick. This is a good fucking segue. So there's been a lot of news coming out about the next X-Men movie, The Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Which isn't at the Savage Lands yet, but there's only like 2 or 3 more things left before that's the bottom of the barrel that they have to scrape. And we have talking psychic pterodactyls named Sauron. But Dark Phoenix is a retelling of the Dark Phoenix saga in the comics, which has been addressed briefly in the end of X-Men 2 and
then
X-Men 3. Yeah. Where Jean Grey becomes possessed by a giant flaming space bird. That's really what happens. It's from space. And
space bird from space.
And becomes all evil and stuff. And then they gotta fight it and like get it out of her.
And then and then Logan kills her and they have a moment, which is one of the only good parts of any of the fucking X-Men movies.
That is true. I actually like that scene at the end of X-Men 3. That manages to, as garbage as that entire movie was, for a brief moment you're like, oh, I've been in the theater for an hour and 45 minutes and I forgot about what emotions are. But I am remembering it again.
Thank God they gave Hugh Jackman some stage direction that wasn't look angry.
He does look angry, but like in a sad way.
Well, it's a slight little turn. It goes from bub bub to bub.
Oh my God, I almost happened again. I took a drink as you made that joke. Bub. Is that a more sad than a bub? That's like angrier, right?
Yeah, well, angry is it's a bunch of bubs at once. It's like, hey bub, bub. Oh, Gene bub. But no, actually sad for real.
So the Dark Phoenix saga, though, they've confirmed that they are going balls to the wall with it. There's going to be some space stuff. The Shi'ari, I think is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Empire is going to be in it, and they're like space people.
Sure.
That's
you can tell because they have an apostrophe in their name. I almost guarantee it.
They do. Oh, yeah. It's like SHI apostrophe ARI or something like that.
That's a space tribe right there.
But that's like a pretty big leap from what we've seen in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, they've been pretty liberal with time travel, but I don't know.
But going up into space.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that the X-Men are physically going to go into space?
I think that
or is space going to come to them?
Phoenix brought the space to us.
Like, do you think that
we didn't ask for this space?
They're like, we've been contacted by the Shi'ar Empire. We got to go. Oh, Professor, how are we going to get there? We'll just get in the Blackbird. Well, the Blackbird that can go into space. Oh yeah, you didn't know the whole time. It's a goddamn spaceship. It's faster than light fucking travel. Professor, you invented faster than light travel. How come you haven't spread this with humanity? look, I don't know. Let's not get into the
It's
details. The Shi'ar Empire, they're past Andromeda. We gotta go.
The important thing is Mystique gets some screen time, okay?
Oh my God.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, they have confirmed, even though last year, I think it was, the three of them, McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, I almost forgot her first name again.
That's all right.
And Michael Fassbender were all like, no, we're never going to do another X-Men. Well, guess what, people? They're back. Your two favorite X-Men actors, and then the one that you wonder why they keep putting her in it and making her be a good guy. That's my least. I like her as an actress.
Sure.
She's fucking terrible in those movies because you can tell she does not give a shit at all.
Well, I think it's partly that you... I mean, how much of a shit can you give about that writing, in my opinion?
Sure.
Second of all, there's not really a character there. They kind of stripped away what made Mystique,
Right.
and added, kind of like Barbie doll parts of a female lead that you would see attached to any other Hollywood blockbuster, and created this amalgamation that doesn't really have any direction, doesn't really, I don't understand what role is being played there. And if I don't understand that, I don't expect the actress to understand it.
Yeah, she just keeps, in all the movies she's portrayed as like, well, basically I like Professor X and Magneto a whole lot, and I agree with both of them.
Let's agree to disagree. Famous Mystique
Should we
feeling.
Should we kill all the humans? For sure, but we gotta also save them all. And in the meantime, my contract states that I'm gonna just look like real life person Jennifer Lawrence the entire time, even though a very specific point of my character is how proud I am to be a mutant that you can visually tell instantly is a mutant.
Yep.
And I'm not ashamed to hide it.
That's what I'm saying. They stripped away Mystique and left the name.
Yeah, she should be just a badass fucking assassin who was like, no, fuck all humans. They're terrible. They've done terrible things to me. I will fucking kill all of them.
And I could totally see Jennifer Lawrence playing that character.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I want the outfit from the show, dude, with the fucking skull belt. You remember that?
Yes, absolutely. I remember the skull belt.
We also got some casting information. One of the roles that they're trying to fill with the casting calls specifies you have to be a good singer. And they're looking for a youngish blonde female.
Okay.
Who can sing really well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much means for sure we're getting Dazzler.
I was gonna say, you thinking Dazzler?
Yeah. And that pisses me off because I fucking hate... I think of that X-Men arcade game where I have to pick Dazzler and I wish it was Jubilee instead.
You think it's Jubilee after a few at the barcade.
Yeah.
And then you remember, oh wait, no, it's just Dazzler.
And people who are roughly our age but are not super into X-Men, they show up and they're like, oh, that's Jubilee. Why does Jubilee look a little different? It's because it's not Jubilee, but I fucking wish it was.
It's fucking Kroger brand Jubilee.
Mm-hmm. They confirmed that it's going to be set in 1991, which is significant for a lot of reasons. 1991 is the year that the artist Jim Lee redesigned all of the characters into, I think, their most iconic looks. Certainly for our generation. I mean, if you're anywhere between a newborn and 30 to 35 even, then to you, the X-Men are what they looked like in the early 90s X-Men series. Cyclops is wearing the triangular looking three-way yellow belt system with the skin tight blue outfit.
Well, you just think blue and gold, I think. Blue and yellow.
Yeah. Jubilee having the big trench coat and everything.
I loved that.
Yeah. So do you think we'll get him in the costumes this time? They've been inching closer towards it.
Yeah,
Nightcrawlers in Apocalypse is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
It's damn near spot on. They still gave him the weird tattoos that he had in X2, which is dumb, but whatever. His outfit looked really good.
My biggest guess probably is that they're gonna give us the color scheme. They're gonna take about half the shit off the suits. They're gonna make it look like they're covered in scales. They're gonna make it a dark blue and maybe like a dingier yellow.
Yeah. They also at the very end of Apocalypse, the young Cyclops gets an outfit that looks pretty decently like the Jim Lee designed outfit.
Well, I mean, there was also the time that,
Wolverine opened up the case and had the outfit, but it's we're not going to actually put him in it.
Come on, that would be silly. Why would anyone go see that? I know you guys in the theater currently like it, but...
We're not actually going to do it. No, I think that I mean, maybe now that Bryan Singer isn't directing it, but I don't know.
It's his right-hand man, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the other news. Thankfully, Bryan Singer is not directing it, but it's kind of like trading out Donald Trump and getting Mike Pence.
Sure.
We're getting fucking Simon Kinberg, famous for not ever directing anything to the best of my knowledge and Wikipedia's knowledge.
And also famous for writing the line, "Oh, what did you want? Yellow spandex?"
Yeah, he was the writer. Basically, his career has been writing all the other X-Men movies, which have been fucking terrible. So, I don't know. He's also written a couple episodes of Rebels, but none of them were especially good episodes.
Okay.
And also, he didn't write any of them by himself.
Okay, well then we got to take that with a mountain of salt at this point.
So I don't know what, if any, talent he has, but now he's writing and, and directing it. And then there's also some casting hints that some people online have pieced together as possibly hinting at the introduction of the Hellfire Club. And they were kinda in X-Men First Class. White Queen was in First Class. Yeah. And she was at a club. Right? Didn't she run like that strip club, and that's where they found the girl with the bug wings?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think it would be cool to get like a real Hellfire Club. They were supposed to be making a series out of it. They were going to do Legion and Hellfire Club for FX.
Yeah.
And they canceled Hellfire Club, and maybe this is why, because they realized they wanted to use the characters in the movies, and they're still afraid to really have those universes connected completely.
Sure. There's lots of trepidation on that side from all the different studios, it would appear.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, neither do I. That's something that I wanted from the get-go. It looks like Marvel's, at the very least, thinking about going back on that.
Well, at least Marvel acknowledges, it's like, for sure, these are the same universes.
Yeah.
But
you're not going to see them together.
Yeah, but these characters will never meet each other ever. No fucking way, no how. The ones from Netflix can only meet the ones from Netflix. The ones from ABC can only meet the ones from ABC.
And possibly some of the throwaway characters from Thor. Possibly.
Yeah, that is true. But those are some of the best episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, which makes me wonder why they don't go just a little bit farther in. Because if you get the fucking Asgardian Power Rangers...
I think it's a lot of licensing and stuff. I mean, like, they're pumping out a lot of money, I feel like, anytime they even have one of those minor characters in that, like, I mean, imagine how much, if you wanted to have, like, Robert Downey Jr. be in a fucking episode of an ABC television series.
Well, I'm not even...
How much he'd charge for that, like, for one episode of a TV show, not going to be a huge return on that investment compared to a movie.
Exactly, and I'll give you that, but I'm more so speaking to the idea of, you know, I don't like how much and this goes for established science fiction and fantasy universes as a whole, when they get adapted to the screen, large or small, I don't like how much of an inclination there seems to be to create new characters within those universes. Oh,
I see. Yeah, that is stupid.
So, but, I mean, so depending always. On... it's gotten better in recent years, I'll give you that. But
there's some really, like, Harley Quinn was created for the animated series, wasn't a comic book character. Obviously, that worked out pretty fucking well for everybody.
No, certainly.
I may be wrong, but I am pretty sure that Jubilee was made for the X-Men cartoon show as well.
I wouldn't have context on that. That was my first encounter.
The first episode is about her joining the X-Men, and I think the character was created for that and then introduced into the comics right afterward.
All right.
But I may be way fucking wrong on that. So if I am, you guys, please don't dislike this to hell and back. I'm admitting I know.
No,
I don't know
he's
for
wrong.
Sure.
He has no fucking idea what he's talking
fucking
about.
Leave a comment. Did you see on the Castlevania video on our YouTube the shitty comment that dude left?
Perhaps.
So this guy, I think I handled it pretty well.
Okay.
This guy, like, I went to click the notifications and it was like there's like 5 comments for review. And I was like, I've never had comments for review before. What is this? And this dude was like, fucking stupid, you're wrong. And like he had commented on everybody else's comments.
Really?
Yeah, and just fucking attacked him. So I didn't approve him. Like, this is not the place to fucking insult, like, you know, other people who enjoy the content.
Who are just trying to talk about.
Yeah, we can discuss it, but don't tell them that, like, they're completely fucking stupid and wrong. But one of the comments was directly to us, and I did approve that one so I could reply to it.
Okay.
And what he said was, because in the video, I'm like, the Belmont clan is a family of supernaturally powered vampire hunters who da-da-da-da-da-da. He's like, you fucking idiot, where did you get the idea that the Belmonts are supernatural powers? They're just ordinary, like it's all spelled wrong. They're just, that's why I'm pronouncing it weird.
No,
they're just ordinary
the
peoples. Maybe, perhaps they have a super weapon with the whip. And maybe one of them has used powers before. Richter, which Richter definitely does use powers.
Yeah.
But guess what? He was given those powers by Maria, which is true. Maria comes in Rondo of Blood and gives Richter like abilities.
Yeah.
It's at the beginning of Castlevania Symphony of the Night when you, right? If you die, she comes in and gives you all the animal powers.
Yeah.
So anyways, I responded with the opening. This is a direct quote from the opening sequence to Castlevania 3, in which it says, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me now, but the townspeople feared the Belmont family for their supernatural powers and asked them to leave the country.
All right. Well, that's tied up nice in a bow.
Yeah. So I just quoted that back, and then I was like, so maybe, and he was like, if you love it so much, maybe you should know the lore. And I was like, well, maybe you need to look into the lore a little bit more. And Christina said, don't, because that would be shitty. So I just gave him the quote.
It would be shitty, so I'm glad that we decided to instead talk shit about him on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I doubt he's gonna listen to this video, but if he does, ILY like devil or something was his name. You're fucking stupid, dude.
That's not even, get a handle, bro.
Yeah, for real, fucking idiot. Learn your shit and don't attack my fans and my people.
I think you say don't attack my family.
My fans are my family, and I will fucking hunt you down.
I will fucking hunt you down.
I will fucking kill you. Anyways.
Speaking of fucking killing people, just got finished up with The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, dude. What do you think of it, just as an adaptation as a whole? I know you like the book probably about as much as me.
Yeah, I thought I thought that they did a lot of really great things that I wouldn't have expected. In the book rather, you'll have to forgive me because it's been almost a decade since my first and only read through.
That's fair.
But it seemed as if, I believe it was episode 2, episode 3, where we start getting some answers about Nick.
Yeah,
and I don't recall getting those answers about Nick in the book.
I don't think we got much more information about Nick than we did in the book.
Yeah.
It does hint that he's an eye in the book.
I just remember coming out of it, and after the ending surprised me, I remember coming out of it specifically wondering, I seemed as if I could hold out hope for him being a part of the Resistance.
Yes. For sure. It leaves it completely ambiguous, basically.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, the ending of the series and the ending of the book are almost exactly like the black van for the eyes comes, and
Yes.
it is confirmed that he's an eye in the book.
Yeah.
But maybe he's, I guess, eyes are double agent, so maybe he's a triple agent and is actually working for the Mayday Resistance.
Classic triple agent.
But yeah, no, I liked that. Typically, I don't like when something drastically changes like key plot points from a book, especially a book more than even like a comic book and stuff, because comic books have such a like denser history and they're rebooted and there's multiverses, so know there's plenty of more leeway there. But like a book that's just like, it's just one fucking book, that's all it was.
Yeah. And I also think that its particular place in culture and the particular message that Atwood came across with is easily lost with too many changes. There's a much greater risk to a book adaptation like that rather than a book adaptation of just, the happy-go-lucky fantasy adventure time.
Like the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah. Or even something like Harry Potter, where you can kind of take creative license and still get the same idea across. Best friends and fucking could have been anybody, blah, blah, blah.
But in this instance, I fucking loved like every single change they made from the book. I was about it.
Yeah.
Like the episode when we found out that Luke was alive. And I was like, holy shit, Luke's still alive.
How did he make it out? I want to know this stuff now.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I want him to be together again, please. And, God, what were some of the other big changes? Mrs. Waterford being even more directly responsible for the rules that put them there than the commander himself was.
Yeah.
Like, Oh my god!
And the brief moments when we got to see her in the flashbacks reacting to the effect the laws that she wrote is going to have on her, I loved that so much.
Fucking, you reap what you sow, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's cool that she acknowledges that it's bullshit and that it infuriates her, even though she's a shitty character and I want nothing good to come for her. I don't know. It's really cool. I think that comments on how like women will put other women down so much and how that's a big problem. I don't know. I thought it was fucking fantastic. If you guys have no idea what we're talking about and you haven't watched The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, fucking do it. The reason it's on our Geek podcast is because it is science fiction. So I think it definitely falls on our purview, and it's for sure worth a fucking watch. And the book is also fantastic. It's by Margaret Atwood. Please read it. Both are fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's really gotten me excited for the other Hulu original series that are starting to get ramped up.
There's not any others that I've watched or even really care about or know anything about.
The first one that I paid attention to was an adaptation of a Stephen King book about time travel, assassination of JFK, and you can guess how that goes.
Fucking so stupid. That sounds so dumb, Spencer.
It starred James Franco. But
yeah,
and it was fine.
This is already out.
Yeah, this was already out, and it was fine. Not bad by any means, but this is on a completely different level. Like, this is high quality. Real. I had a very intense emotional reaction of one emotion or another, like be that joy or loss or fear.
I teared up a couple of times watching the series for sure.
And every single episode felt like it could be used in itself as a contained a message, I suppose. It seemed as if every single one had its own place within the story, but also could be lifted out and have morals taken and a point taken from each individual episode. And I don't think I've seen that very often in television recently. But
for sure.
There were so many points because it's incredibly timely, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure it is.
Like,
absolutely.
I think that there's something inherently uncomfortable about watching a show like this right now.
Yeah.
And I think that only adds to the tension and the drama of the narrative they're trying to give to us. I thought it was beautifully acted by all involved.
Yeah.
They really got a great cast to play all of the different characters. There were a few moments that I found perhaps maybe missed the mark a little bit, but they were minor. Specifically, I'm reminded, since we're just spoilers, I suppose.
Oh yeah, no, we're well into it now.
At one point, Janine, who has just had a child, realizes that she's losing that child to the woman who, quote unquote, rightfully owns the child, and it's her job to just bear children, and she's not going to get to raise it. She's not going to get to have a family.
Yeah.
And she is about to jump off of a bridge, and the main character, Offred, is chosen as one of her closer friends to try to talk her down.
Yeah.
Because that child is very, very precious. They don't give a shit about her, except in the fact that she's, chattel for breeding. But the child is very, very important to them, and she's giving her this whole big spiel about, when all of this is over, and it will be over, we're all going to go out drinking and dancing, and we're going to do karaoke, and when she brings up dancing, Janine stops in her tracks, and she, kind of motions to her injured eye and says, "Who would want to dance with me?" And it seems as if that's the catalyst that makes her eventually jump, and I was weirded out by that. For some reason.
I don't think that it is, but also I think that's significant. I mean, the society that they live in, like, it's pretty fucking damaging to pluck out someone's eye, and too intentionally. It seems like they do that to make them less attractive, like, because they're not supposed to be viewed as attractive in any way.
I get all that. I just, for some reason, it gave me pause at the time that all of these awful, because this isn't even close to the upper levels of abuse, both mental and physical, that these girls have had to.
You think having her eye removed isn't even close to the upper levels of the abuse that she's gone through?
As far as quantity, having your eye plucked out, yes, it's awful and tragic, as is everything else that goes on in Gilead. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying their whole entire existence is one of being owned, manipulated.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm saying that the grand total of all of that is more than the act of losing one's eye and being concerned about the way that you look. Like
I don't think
believe
it's not about the way she look. I don't know. I see what you're saying. I think I disagree with you a little bit. I think that is probably by far the most egregious thing that has happened to Janine specifically, because I think that it showed that the households that she was in were not as bad as what Offred goes through. I think that we're led to assume and believe that. Like, it seems like the wife is up until after she gave birth was okay with Janine. You know what I mean? That wasn't like fucking locking her in a room and beating her and shit like that. But no, I think it's fucking terrible to remove someone's body part against their will.
No, absolutely. Do you think I'm suggesting that it's fine?
It seems like you're downplaying it, man.
Jesus, get over it. You fucking had your eye out. Who cares?
We also had some pretty cool figures that came out. Marvel Knights Legends, which is a series of like high quality action figures from Marvel. They release a few every single year. This year's were Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, and Elektra, all styled on exactly how they look like in the Netflix series. And then two other characters, Bullseye, which is a main Daredevil villain. Who was it that played him in the shitty Daredevil movie? The one with
who played Bullseye?
Yeah, with
it was
Ben
Colin
Affleck.
Farrell.
That was it. Yeah, Colin Farrell. And also Blade, Blade the Vampire Hunter.
Blade the vampire.
He's a vampire. I cover this again in my Castlevania video. But I think that that's interesting, maybe hinting at the introduction of one or both of those characters into the Netflix universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Bullseye is inevitable. If they keep making seasons of Daredevil, they're going to have Bullseye be in it.
Yeah.
Bullseye is also significant because in the comics, he kills Elektra. Which pushes Daredevil over an edge. I don't know why. I would be like fucking glad she's dead.
Yeah, it caused me a bunch of problems, actually.
I know. I fucking hate it. As I've said to Spencer many times, my least favorite parts of Daredevil comics are any time that Elektra is reintroduced, because I know that a whole bunch of fucking magic ninjas are right behind. And then I have to read like 12 issues, a whole story arc of Daredevil fighting goddamn superpowered magical ninjas. And then finally he can get back to busting up dudes on the street, which is what I care about. It just seems so tonally such a drastic shift. Even though like I know he got his powers from a ninja.
Sure.
And he has kind of some powers, but like to see him actually in the ninja outfits with like their hooks on the ends of chains and shit, and like they're like rappelling down that building. I just fucking... And
so much talk of honor.
I know, I cannot fucking stomach it.
To this day, I don't know whether or not to give props or just be incredibly disgusted by how accurately they portrayed those ninjas in season 2. Like, those are the stereotypical comic book ninjas, by God.
Yeah, man.
They really gave them to us.
But aside from Bullseye, Blade, I was thinking, how cool would it be if Blade was introduced in the Punisher series? I feel like he would be such a good fit for that.
Yes, absolutely.
And might make the Punisher interesting, because it sucks in Punisher, as we've talked about, is just, here's a whole bunch of bad guys, I'm going to shoot them all to death.
I've got to avenge my family with guns.
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing this forever and ever. And it's like, well, that's not really that interesting of a conflict.
No, not
Eventually,
really.
we know you're gonna shoot every single one of them.
Yeah.
But to have him
it's gonna look badass, but it is gonna be fleeting.
To have him think that like, oh, I'm busting up this fucking drug ring at this club, and he goes in and starts shooting them all, but they're not dying because turns out they're goddamn vampires. And then Blade comes in and kills them. And to have him team up, I think it would be cool to like force Punisher to work with some of the more supernatural elements of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
I think he's like outclassed in a way that makes him interesting, but then he manages to like to buckle up and get shit done.
Somehow good old-fashioned lead does the trick at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, he's gonna be like, this is all bullshit and I don't believe it, but okay, I'm instead gonna make like a gun that shoots steaks, and like I'm gonna get all my fucking bullets made out of silver and have them blessed by a priest, I guess, and like it starts being effective, and he's like, finally I can shoot things to death again.
Great, I love it.
But I don't know. I was
No,
thinking
I
that would
think
be a cool introduction to the character to
Yeah.
team them up. I don't want Punisher just on his own. He's got to be with somebody.
I don't know if they're going to go vampires in season 1. We might have to wait till 2018, 2019.
Maybe that'll be a
before we see
season 2 or 3.
Punisher shooting up a vampire blood rave.
All right, but you want to see it, right?
Of course. I want a series that just follows vampire blood raves around the world.
I feel like CW's made that show at some point.
Yeah, but it's like in its 7th or 8th season. I mean,
Speaking of CW shows, Black Lightning is filming and is going to premiere at some point. It's a DC superhero. I don't really know anything about Black Lightning, to be honest. He's older, like as far as in the comics.
okay.
I think he was one of the first DC black characters, which is cool, significant for that, but he was never in anything of significance when I was growing up as a kid.
Okay.
But the news that is really exciting is that they hinted at a possible cameo for Static Shock.
Which is far more interesting news.
Yeah, now that was a cartoon I had. I know Static Shock, and he's cool as fuck.
Yes.
He was also in Batman Beyond, and the episodes.
Static was in Batman Beyond?
Yeah, as an adult, he's like an older Static. But yeah, when Terry McGinnis meets up with the future Justice League,
Okay.
Static is a member of it.
God damn.
Yeah,
That show did so many things right.
Batman Beyond,
Yeah, I
Static
still
Shock.
haven't seen all of it.
Just the whole fucking DC animated universe of that time was fucking killing it, on point. Like you can see on my notebook, I wrote JLA for the Justice League because that's the that's how I remember it. But that's not the name of the show. It's just Justice League. It's not Justice League of America. But no, I think that's really cool. They also, when they initially announced it, said no, we're definitely not going to do any crossovers with the Arrowverse, which is the rest of the CW superhero shows.
Right. They're
plus
splitting
Supergirl.
up their television universes into 2 television universes.
But now they're like, yeah, we'll do it. And that's what they said about Supergirl too, because Supergirl wasn't even on the same network. They're like, no, we are definitely not. And then they did.
And then they did that wildly successful crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, the Arrowverse is fucking killing it right now. And I just hope we get a standalone Static Shock show at some point. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Black Lightning's a really cool, interesting character. I literally know nothing. I think he's like,
But we're attached to Static, and
Yeah.
and I think he's better suited for 2017's audience in terms of
in lieu of Black Lightning, you're saying? I think
Yes.
I think the shtick with Black Lightning, if I remember correctly, is that like in the show he's gonna be like washed up, like he's older,
yeah.
and he's like been Black Lightning and stopped being Black Lightning, and then like they reel me back in.
Yeah,
for-
chopping wood out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and
Yeah.
black SUV shows up. I get it.
It's gonna be like Gran Torino, but with a superhero.
Hopefully not too much like Gran Torino.
Get the hell off my lawn.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he's gonna lightning him. I don't know.
I've always wanted to see Clint Eastwood, just get.
It's Static Shock tries to steal his car, and Black Lightning comes out, and he's like, "I'm gonna lightning you." It's not doing anything, and he's like, "I have lightning powers too." And then he takes him under his wing and teaches him how to be a superhero. That's it. That's the plot of the show.
And if it's not, you need to get on it. Okay?
Yeah, for real. Otherwise, I'm
Get
not
Josh to
watching
do
it.
the reshoots.
So the biggest news this week, though, was of course E3.
And how big of a shit show almost all of it was.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good-looking games that were announced as usual, but more than that, I saw footage for games that I already knew about from last E3 that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, still looks really good.
Still in the exact same spot that we were 12 months ago.
That's why I say that I think Sony won it. I feel like pretty much everything that they showed, they had already announced,
Yeah.
but what they showed of it looked so good that I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to go buy a PlayStation because I don't have one right now. Like, I play on PC mostly, and I can't get God of War 3 or the new Spider-Man game on PC, so...
You give a shit. Well, it's not God of War 3. It's,
yeah, I don't know why I said that. God of War.
whatever
Is it just
it is.
called
The
God
new
of
one.
War?
I think it might just be called God
Yeah.
of War. Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't think that you were into that.
Oh, I'm kind of not, but the trailers look really fucking good, so I want to play it.
That's true.
Yeah. It looks very different from the previous God of War games.
To me, it just seems like Spider-Man's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for Sony. Like,
Sure, but Spider-Man games are so good. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I didn't give EA the same treatment when Battlefront 2 did all the heavy lifting for their press conference. I still feel like that was a very not good showing of literally anything else that they had in the pipe.
That's not true. Payback, Need for Speed looked good. And they also showed off what was that fucking A Way Out.
Oh, that was I keep forgetting that was part of EA's press conference. I keep thinking that was just some separate experience that I had because that did look incredible.
Yeah, I think that was the best game that I didn't know about at all until the conference hit. You know what I mean? Because even Battlefront 2, like as impressive as it was, and we weren't expecting it to look that good, we knew that it was coming. They announced it previously.
And we had already seen a little bit of information about the campaign, so that wasn't a fresh announcement or anything.
But no, I to go back to God of War, I like his kid. I like that they're making him a dad.
Yeah.
And I like that he still is kind of a dick to his kid. Because that's pretty par for the course for Kratos. I like that it seems like they're like, okay, look, we're going to give him some human emotions, have Kratos open up a little bit, but nowhere near as much as you would expect.
Yeah.
He still is a fucking asshole. And like, I don't know. I really like that.
Insofar that he's not yelling at the kid too much for the mistakes that he perceives or makes.
It's like the Logan of video games, I feel like is what it could end up being, you know?
I feel like that's a very valid comparison.
Yeah, and I think that's really good. I saw some comments on Kotaku where they were talking about how like they had an article, I don't know if you read it, about giving Kratos some emotions and how cool they can make. I think they said, quote, for the first time ever, he may actually be an interesting character. And I was really surprised that there was an overwhelming number of people commenting about how they think that trailer looks real bad because of that. And they're like, I don't want that. I want my Kratos to just be a dick that just rips out God's eyeballs because. And like, literally one of the comments was like, I hope that he fucking like kills the kid just to save his own skin in a situation. Like, can you believe the kind of people that exist and that enjoy God of War games, apparently?
Yes, I can believe it, and it terrifies me. Like I don't know.
I was shocked, literally shocked, reading this. I was like, I did not expect. You guys love this franchise. Apparently, you're getting a really good looking game in it, and you don't want it.
There's the kind of Venn diagram that occurs whenever a game takes a pivot like that to a beloved franchise. And it's like, okay, well, I'll step into this room. I'm liking the things I'm hearing coming from this room, so I'll step in here. I'll give it a peek. What's going on? Okay, Kratos, I know who he is, and you know, clearly he's starting to get a little bit of development there. Like he's growing as an individual and as a character, and it even affects the gameplay mechanics. And there's a group of people who are already into Kratos who are like, yeah, you know, I'm happy with this as well. But that's just the little sliver in the middle of the diagram. Most of our people are still on the outside, and most of their people just want to see murder porn. Yeah, like
I guess they want more of the fucking the two babes at once mini game. that was the God of War 2. That was the beginning of. Jesus Christ. I don't know. The only one that I ever even fucking played was God of War 1, and like I only enjoyed it because of the first cutscene where like his family's dead and he's about to kill himself by leaping off of Mount Olympus.
Yes.
There was emotion there. I was like, cool, this,
and it brought me in. I was like, what the fuck
and then
is
like
happening?
I guess nothing else happened for another 3 games.
The ashes of his family are markings on his body. What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's cool. Give him more of that. More of that one cutscene in that very first game. But like for a whole game, I'm for it.
So God of War looks good. is what we're saying.
But the Spider-Man game, I'm okay with it doing all Sony's heavy lifting. For one thing, Spider-Man is really strong, okay? So he can lift a lot. A lot of people don't know this. His physical strength is like a lot higher than other characters in the Marvel universe. Oftentimes underrated. I'm just saying.
Wow.
But
wow.
The Spider-Man games, the good ones are so fucking good, Spencer.
I know. It's. I've had this discussion that web slinging could be like web sling races or exploration games could be a genre.
Yes.
All its own.
Yes.
Discovered this with Spider-Man 2, the game, which was just this thing I rented from Family Video, and just spent days and days not going to any map markers, not doing any of my objectives.
Just fucking web. The Spider-Man games are like fucking the they're like made on that locomotion mechanic.
Yes.
Because the ones that don't have it are garbo. Just complete throw it in the fucking dumpster. Like
Absolutely.
What was Shattered Dimensions, because it wasn't open world.
Yes.
And so like you can still web sling, but kind of. Not really.
It was web swing
like
in
10 feet in front
marks.
of you.
Yeah.
You know, like I need
you could have a web
skyscrapers.
dash.
Yeah, I want skyscrapers. I need to be like fucking momentum physics based web swinging mechanics, pulling off crazy fucking moves, run along the side of a building. And I'm glad that their trailer this year showed all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so excited for it. The ones that stand out to me are Spider-Man 2, obviously the one that started at like fucking getting that mechanic nailed down. The Ultimate Spider-Man game had it. It was simplified a little bit, but it was made up for in the fact that you could also play as Venom, and he didn't have web swinging. He like Hulk leaped everywhere.
Yeah.
And that also ended up being really fun.
I'm glad you brought that one up. It doesn't get nearly enough attention because that was really, really, really fun.
That was one of the first games I ever pirated, because I remember I couldn't afford it at the time, and I played it at my friend's house, and I was like, well, I gotta fucking play this game. I've heard that you can just download games. I'm gonna look into this. And then I did.
Story time with Jeff.
Yeah. And Web of Shadows is, I think, the best.
The Web of Shadows, I think, is the very best Spider-Man game that's been released to date.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my fucking God. That game is so good. Do you remember the boss fight with Wolverine, where instead of fighting him, he's quizzing you on Spider-Man comics history, and you can avoid the entire fight if you know the correct answers to prove that you actually are Peter Parker?
I didn't know that you could forego that because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yes, dude. Oh my God, that is such a cool idea. But no, the web swinging, like you said, I would spend fucking hours just fucking swinging around New York City. Like, that's what makes him, I think, such an interesting character, is that that's such a unique thing. Like, how many characters fly? You know what I mean? And
yes.
how many characters are super fast? And how many characters are rich and have jets?
Yes.
Like, I mean, there's, you know what I mean? They have robot suits that let him fly. Like, whatever it is.
But nobody can touch his particular trademark of motion.
Yeah, except for all the other Spider characters that they've introduced, which are just clones or alternate versions of him, or female versions of him made with his own DNA.
Yeah, but it's all the same thing. It's Spider blank.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm super pumped about that. I think the game looks great. I'm cool with what they're doing with the QuickTime events. People were shitting on that a little bit. I'm fucking fine with it.
I'm not morally opposed to QuickTime events like a lot of the community is.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Uncharted. They came out and said, yeah, we're pulling from Uncharted here. And the Uncharted games are some of the funnest fucking games I've ever played in my life. It is so fun to go through those experiences.
Yes.
So I'm all for it. Spider-Man looks great. Can't wait for it. What else did we see this year that you were pumped about before we start shitting on everything?
What else did we see this year that I'm pumped about?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pick something out, honestly, because there's not a bunch that I was pumped about. Even some of the things that when I saw it, I was like, this looks pretty cool. The more I paid attention to it, the more that attention dwindled and the more that interest dwindled. I'm reminded of you bringing me back down to earth when I was trying to convince myself that the new Assassin's Creed looked good because I want so badly for another Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Egypt seems like it'd be pretty cool. Seems and as I was,
I don't know, Egypt's pretty cool.
Well, as I was saying it, I was realizing, man, I am just grasping for something here.
Yeah.
To pique my interest.
They're never gonna get it.
This dialogue based, story and narrative driven gamer who grew up on JRPGs. I'm now saying, oh, but the graphics, but it looks really good. I don't give a shit. When do I say that? I'm trying to convince myself that I'm more excited than I am. I remember I was initially arguing with you about Mario Odyssey. We're into shitting on things. I remember.
No, not yet. I don't want to get into it yet.
Okay.
There's got to be something that you saw that looked good.
I mean, as upset as I was that all they did was announce, hey, check out the Disney Expo D23. I really thought Kingdom Hearts 3, the trailer looked really good.
Still looking good. Every trailer that you guys have released for the past 57 years for Kingdom Hearts 3, still looking good.
I mean, can that be said for every project? No, it cannot. No, it cannot.
Must be a pretty fucking long game, dude.
I mean... No, they're just developing new belt buckle rendering software for the engine. That's why it's taking so long. But no, I think that the art style
Physics-based zippers.
You want me to talk about some shit that I liked? Let me speak.
Okay.
I thought that the art style looks similar enough, but it seems as if it's growing as each numbered installment. Like, fucking 15 goddamn years ago when the first one came out. It was very, very bright, very, very cartoony, which was applicable. And it's still cartoony because there are literal fucking Disney cartoons as a large plot point about it. But when the official sequel came out, Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PlayStation 2, it felt as if it was a bit more mature in ways. It had kept the art style, but everything was a bit more adult. The colors were perhaps slightly more muted at times.
Would you even go so far as to say that everything seemed to be like a little bit more heartless?
Jesus Christ. I can't believe you've done this. And with this third one, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too like, we threw a sepia filter on this, but it looks like it feels as if it's the natural conclusion to things. It feels far more, and I use the word adult very loosely because Donald Duck and Goofy, but I feel like I'm ready to experience this game as a 27-year-old. More likely as a 32-year-old, but we'll see when we get there. I really want to gush about, and I always forget the name of it. Is it Way Out?
A Way Out.
A Way Out, yes. I want to gush about that even more. So A Way Out looks like something that I'm probably going to pick up on day one. I'm already convinced that I want to buy this game, which is hard for a developer to do for me with an announcement trailer. They showed enough to where I'm into it. I played the developer's previous game, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that game was very much them cutting their teeth on a two-player co-op game that they wanted to strictly be a two-player co-op game. It worked in some spots, it didn't work in other spots, and I wasn't particularly attached to the story. But it looks as if they're going to be fixing all of the problems that I had with the first game and putting it into a setting that I'm much more invested in. I've never played a game where I'm trying to break out of a prison, and I'm so all in on that premise. I didn't realize it's one of those situations where it's not something you realize you want to play until someone gives you a chance to play it. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, absolutely, I want to do this. Yeah. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised that we get a new IP that I'm already like, yeah, I'll drop cash for that on day one.
Yeah, I think it was by far the best surprise announcement of all of E3. Like, I agree with everything you said. It just looks so fucking good. Yeah. I'm sure it's gonna make me cry at some point.
Oh yeah.
And laugh and have fun. Just the full spectrum of emotions. I mean, what more do you want from a game than to experience it all, Spencer? And to be able to experience it right next to your best bro or significant other.
Why not both?
That's like at the same time, or I don't think it's 3 players.
No, sure, we can move past it. It's okay.
And of course, one last thing I guess before we get into shitting on stuff is Battlefront 2.
Yeah, we need to talk about that for a minute.
How they owned up to all the mistakes they had made with the previous one, and I mean that takes a lot of balls. The wall of tweets. Which are sure, they've choice selected some of the friendlier negative tweets, but nevertheless.
They did get John Boyega to come down specifically to say, hey, everyone, this first game sucked. Let's see what they have to show us for this next one.
But yeah, everything they fucking showed, especially since they ended it with the whole half an hour of an actual match playing out. So we really got to see the game in action. And
they didn't pull their punches, that's for sure.
The flight controls being different and having like actual flight controls and not being like a fucking rail shooter when I'm trying to fly a goddamn spaceship around. Yeah. That just blew my mind. Like, I mean, that shouldn't blow my mind, but it blew my mind in as far as like, yes, I haven't done this since the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah, when I saw all of the promotional material and the announcements for the first DICE Battlefront,
Yeah.
I thought to myself a whole bunch like, this looks like Star Wars. This sounds like Star Wars. I never thought this looks like Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
But that's very much the feeling that I got from EA's 20-minute presentation on the game. And
they never needed to reinvent the fucking wheel.
No,
you know what I mean?
not.
Like all Battlefront was, the original 2 Battlefronts is Battlefield, but Star Wars plastered on top. That's all we fucking want.
Yeah.
It looks like they were like, oh, that's actually all you guys wanted? Like,
well, we know how to do that.
Yeah, it is what we fucking want, man. Like, come on, dude.
Why didn't you guys say something?
It's not fucking hard. We get in a ship, fly around like I'm in a ship. When I'm on the ground, let my guns feel different. Let me have a fucking role and a purpose. Not just everybody's the same, doing the same thing.
I was checking off boxes in my head of all the problems that I had with the first game that seemed to be solved.
Yeah.
With this one. No longer is it, okay, well, if you want to fly in a ship, you gotta walk past a circle on the ground. These circles will be in various places.
Pick up that immersion breaking power-up token and transform into an A-Wing for 10 seconds. Like, oh my god.
Do your loop-de-loops, then come back down for some disappointing gunplay, because that's what we're really here for.
Yeah. No, I think it looks fucking amazing. Like, unless they release more stuff that makes it look bad, like, I'm fucking for it. I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't buy the first one, which takes like a lot of effort to convince me to not buy a Star Wars game. Like, it's got to be pretty bad. I download Star Wars games on my phone that I don't even fucking play, but I play them for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, I tried that. The Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah.
Like,
I did the same thing, man. I did the same thing.
You know, it's got Star Wars on it. I'm going to try it out, but I had my fill with the fucking free beta that they did for it. I played the beta for a week and was like, well, I'm done here. I have no desire to play this game anymore. The second one looks so fucking good, and customizing your characters, always a fucking stickler for that.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love it, especially now that I'll be able to choose colors and patterns for my Gen 1 battle droids and choose the tone at which they say, Roger, Roger.
Damn it.
I want it. I want all of it.
I had the same joke in the chamber. The same joke.
I'm all about it. So I guess now, we can go ahead and shit on things. What are we going to shit on first? It's going to be paid mods.
It's going to be paid mods. I was going to say you got to lead with your most expensive foot forward.
Damn it.
They held a press conference in which the only new things they announced were a Wolfenstein sequel and paid mods for a game that is very quickly approaching its decade mark.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having trouble putting into words in the English language how confused and infuriated I was by the idea of the Creation Club. And they even gave it that name that rings of exclusivity, like, oh, we're introducing the Creation Club. Doesn't that sound like something you want to be a part of?
Join the club. Pony up those creds.
And and it seemed like they were so unabashed about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we are doing this again. Remember, what was it, a year ago? Just about?
No, it's been longer than that. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. Skyrim's real old, remember?
I do remember that, but I thought
it was way before Fallout 4.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, they tried to do paid mods on Steam with Skyrim because it was before the special edition came out or anything like that.
It was, the backlash was swift and unrelenting.
Yeah, you were right. It was 72 hours, 3 days. It was up for 3 days. The system was active, and then Bethesda issued an apology, and Gabe Newell fucking
Gaben came out of his hole to say.
I didn't picture him in a hole. I pictured him in like a cloud above, like ascending, like as like an energy state. But he came back down, assumed corporeal form, so he could type and say, "I'm sorry."
I forgot that's how people who game primarily on PC think of him.
Yeah, console gamers, you plebs, you think that he's some lowly troll in a ground somewhere?
No, he's not some lowly troll in the ground somewhere. He's got like an underground fortress. I understand that, my idea of Gabe Newell is that he's just like.
Do you have a negative opinion of him?
No, it's just like he
can take as long as he fucking wants to release Half-Life 3. I know it's gonna happen.
He's my friend's dad, just with more more money than God, and he's taken the concept of fuck you, I've built my own empire, and has started to shit on his own consumers.
Sometimes he can do that. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, you guys are in an abusive relationship. I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
No.
It's never coming out. It's never coming out.
I don't play Team Fortress 2 or Dota 2.
That's funny. That's actually pretty funny.
So he hasn't done anything negative to me, okay? He's just given me some of the best games I've ever played and the best platform on which to play and buy games.
You don't think he should have, when the whole Steam Machines debacle happened, you don't think he should have led with the third announcement out of 3 announcements that were being cryptic about is definitely not Half-Life 3? That didn't hurt your feelings a little bit?
No, he can keep doing it.
You were so mad. You were so mad.
Well, I don't care. I'm not mad anymore. because they're doing it again. They're working on 3 games for VR.
Yeah.
And he said 3. There's 3 that they're working on. It's going to be Half-Life 3 is going to be one of them, Spencer.
Ah, you sweet summer
and
child.
Left 4 Dead 3 is going to be another one.
Yep.
And Portal 3 is going to be the other one.
And I'm just going to be so happy.
It's actually going to be 3 different hats for Team Fortress 2 VR.
The hats themselves run Skyrim.
But paid mods, no. Yeah, so that's a terrible decision. And the reason it didn't work the last time, the reason they shut it down was because people were uploading other people's mods.
Yeah.
And charging money for it. People were also releasing like a skin and charging like hundreds of dollars for it. It was like the Wild West. So the lesson that they've learned is that the fact that it was unmoderated and uncurated is the reason that it failed, and they can do it again this time now that they've accomplished step 1 by inserting their own modding page within the game, not using Steam
portal
Workshop.
That is curated.
Yeah, and not using Steam Workshop. Well, that's not curated. No, that's everything goes up there that can be uploaded on it.
Exactly.
But
I was talking about their mods on console.
Do they curate those?
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's no like nudity mods and stuff like that.
I mean, I imagine it's very lightly, yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, there is more of an ability. There's a bit more of a filter that it goes through.
Yeah, but the thing is, currently a lot of the most popular mods you can't install through that mechanism because it doesn't give enough access to the game to truly do the kind of stuff that the amazing modding community is capable of.
Which is why I disagree with your interpretation that you believe that the lesson that they think they learned was that it was just the Wild West and that's why it didn't work. I think they're fully aware of why it didn't work, but they think they can get away with it now that mods are available on console.
Sure.
People are just going to blindly go through with it, and I think it's going to work this time.
It is going to work because of you console plebes, for sure. So
it's not by choice, you ass.
You just don't know that there's a better world out there.
I do know that there's a better world out there.
But, no, it's like, so fucking shitty, like that they had the horse armor, the screen that they showed, that it had the horse armor, and then that it had the Dwemer mud crab, which is a joke from Game Informer many years ago.
Yep.
Like, get your fucking head. It was just
they're fucking rubbing our noses in.
It was so smug, like this, like we thought it was funny. So fucking smug.
I simultaneously cannot believe and absolutely fully understand that they're doing this again, and they're gonna get away with it, and it's gonna spell bad things all around. And I think this press conference, it was so fast. 2 years ago when Bethesda had their first solo conference at E3, and they had Todd Howard come out and talk about Fallout 4, and they talked about Doom and all this different stuff. It felt like Bethesda had arrived.
I thought they showed Doom at last year's.
I apologize.
I might be wrong. I don't know.
I really thought we saw the
Doom and Fallout 4
snap
the same
map
year?
system the same year as Fallout 4.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it felt like they had arrived, and I was like, this is only going to go up from here. These guys have everything going for them. And then last year's press conference was like, okay, that was pretty good. I get that they don't have any huge announcements to make. That's fine. And then this year, it just, it felt like such a nail in the coffin as far as this publisher and these developers that I've had so much respect for.
I've grown up with them. Like Daggerfall 2, or Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall was one of the first fucking games that I ever had on PC. and oh my god, like that game blew my fucking mind. And then Morrowind, obviously everybody knows how fucking good Morrowind is. And Oblivion kind of sucked.
Oblivion
wasn't a huge fan of Oblivion
sucked.
even when it came out. I was like, yeah, okay. But I still played the fuck out of it.
Sure.
And Skyrim was fucking great. Like, even though...
But Skyrim was, I feel like, Elder Scrolls fans say that Oblivion was the beginning of this, but I noticed it the most in Skyrim. Skyrim was incredibly fun. But I don't know if it was an Elder Scrolls name in anything, an Elder Scrolls game in anything else but name and lore. But it was still really great for what it was, and I felt similarly about Fallout 4. I had a great time playing it, but for none of the reasons that I play Fallout games.
I didn't even have a great time playing Fallout 4.
I did.
I really, really, really fucking tried to.
Like,
I took days off, got it at midnight.
Yeah.
Played it for, nonstop for a couple of days and just like exponentially enjoyed it less and less and less. And then when I got to the mission where the USS Constitution and you have to do the one fucking skill check that was in the game, it hit me and I was like,
this is the first time I'm doing this.
Yeah, I've been playing this game for 10, 12, 20 fucking hours and I'm only just now being asked to do a skill check. And then it never happened again, ever, anywhere.
No, that's exactly correct.
And I was like...
And it's also the thing that when people try to defend it as a Fallout game, they bring it up all the time. It's like, well, what about that quest? What about that quest? That has a due skill check. It's the only one.
Yeah, don't defend it because it has one actual fucking RPG quest.
That's the exception that proves the rule.
Yes, exactly. Think about how good New Vegas is and that, like, you can talk your way. If your speech is high enough, you can talk your way out of the entire fucking game.
Yes, and
Go
I
through
do
the whole game
that.
just fucking smooth talking your way because you are playing the role of a character who can do that.
Yep.
And it gives you the options to do that. You can't fucking do anything like that in Fallout 4.
I talk my way through New Vegas twice a year. I have not picked up Fallout 4 a second time.
I didn't beat it.
I did beat it. By the end of it, it ramped up a little bit in terms of story that I actually felt like the decisions I was making were ambiguous enough for me to really, I intentionally fucked around just to avoid making any real end game decisions because, it's faction based and you have to kind of choose sides.
I hated every single faction. There wasn't a single faction I liked. I thought all of them were stupid and wrong.
Really?
Which I guess maybe there's something to be said about that. Like, you know what I mean? You're picking the lesser of multiple evils.
But going back to New Vegas, they gave you the option to eschew all factions and say, no, I'm going to do things my way.
Exactly. And I did not get that.
No,
there were so many things that I wanted to do that I was never given the option to do. Like, I wanted to assume control of the Brotherhood of Steel after overthrowing Cool Jacket guy and steer them in a different direction.
Benny.
Couldn't do that. No, I'm talking about in Fallout 4.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. It was like Max something. Maxim. You know who I'm talking about? The guy who's like the head of the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4. That
yeah,
group.
yeah,
He has the cool fucking
He has the
coat.
battle coat, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever his name is. I wanted to like steer them in a different direction and I couldn't do that. So then I was like, okay, well maybe I can like try to I wanted to steer any of the factions into what I thought was the right direction. I wanted everybody to fucking get along.
I like A, B, and C about this. Let's see if we can change X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it felt like in New Vegas and even to a lesser extent Fallout 3, it let you do those things.
It did.
Like you would meet the factions, work for them, and then eventually get to a point where they were looking to you for decisions.
Exactly.
And some of the options you were given were different than what they had been doing. Instead, it's like, now you're in control of the Brotherhood of Steel. Here's your options. Kill all synths or kill all synths.
Kill all synths or turn the fucking game off because that's what you're doing.
What are we going to do? Well, I guess we're going to kill all synths.
Yep. And New Vegas, I'm just going to gush it for another split second before we get back to our point. There was even a narrative to achieving that in New Vegas. If you recall, you have to try to get all the different families of the casinos on your side.
Yeah.
And you can even side with the people who are currently in charge of them, or if you want to do things your way, get the underlings, work with them to kill the current bosses, or not kill, trap them, otherwise shame them out of their positions, and bring up this new crop of people who are under your influence.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible, which all of this leads me to our original point, which is after the transition from Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim and the transition from Fallout 3 to New Vegas to 4,
Yeah.
I am scared to death of what the next big Bethesda Softworks game is going to look like.
There's a very, like, you could graph it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Progression of stripping the RP out of the RPGs that they make.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I mean, I think that the next Skyrim, and now
How do
it's
you
been so,
the joke has made itself real.
Yeah, the next Elder Scrolls is going to be like not even recognizable as an RPG. I mean, it's gonna be like an Uncharted or something. You know what I mean? Just like it may as well be an entirely different fucking genre. That is my fear. But back to the paid mods. I think the biggest concern about paid mods is that I went to their website, and on the website it states that the vast majority of the content will be made by Bethesda themselves, and that they'll be working with a select few from the modding community to allow them to create some content with their help as well. So basically what they're marketing as, the reason is they're trying to say, hey, paid mods are okay because, don't you want the people who put in all this hard work to make mods to get money? Sure, I do. Go donate to your favorite mod maker's Patreon account.
Yes.
They all have them right now. Like, that's an in thing.
Nexus has had a way to donate directly for quite some time.
Yeah. But what is really happening is, don't you want 1 or 2 or 3 modders that we choose to get paid a little bit of money so that we can keep making a whole bunch more money? It's their version of shark cards.
And keep game assets from you until you give us more money.
Yes, because here is absolutely what's going to happen. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out. Is that what we're on now? The next
6.
one will be 6?
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out now. The Creation Club is going to prove successful enough on consoles, at least, that it's going to be baked into the game when it comes out. And when that game launches, they are not going to have a situation in which the Creation Club's there, but there's nothing in it because nothing hasn't been made because they have to make that content.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go buy $60, Elder Scrolls 6, install it. Creation Club menu is going to be right there. And there's going to be a window that pops up. Check out the Creation Club. Mm-hmm. We already have content in it.
Here's free 500 Bethesda points.
Yep. And there's going to be some dope ass. You're going to be like, oh man, that weapon looks so cool. It's cooler than anything that's even in the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want that. And you're going to buy this and you're going to buy that. And what you're doing is paying for them to withhold the best content because they made that content and could have put it into the game and they chose not to because they knew that you would spend money on it because it's better than the content that they shipped with the game.
Exactly.
It's flashy or cooler or does more damage or whatever.
It's the Breath of the Wild weaponry and armor and things like that being attached to amiibos taken to its absolute extreme.
Yes, that is the end game, and that is so fucking shitty. That is like worse than on-disc DLC to me.
It's
because at least like on-disc DLC is like
you feel like you have a complete game and they're giving you an additional story.
Yeah,
or because usually
nickel
it's
and diming you for like a fucking grenade or a goddamn shield. Like, it's super fucking shitty. It's really shitty to the consumer. It's fucking insulting to the consumer, frankly.
That's the best word that I can think of for it, is really it's insulting. It shows a complete and utter lack of respect for the relationship. It shows a complete and utter lack of respect for the modding community that they're claiming to want to help.
Yes. And they, on their website, they state that. They're like, how many times have you downloaded a mod that broke your game? Now you don't have to worry about it because we test all of these mods, quote unquote, that you can just buy from us.
Now it's just our game that will be broken because no longer can you get unofficial patch fixes.
Exactly.
Which are required.
That's the thing. Like, how many times have you given us broken fucking games that the modders have fixed?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when someone applies to be a Creation Club content member and the mod that they develop is one of the unofficial patches that everybody fucking downloads when they play any of those games to fix them, and then they try to charge money for it? Like, that is what I can't wait to happen. And the third inevitable thing, aside from that, is people are going to be pirating mods. How insane of a statement is that? This is going to lead to piracy of mods. We're going to be stealing, on PC at least, content that modders have made. That just seems fucking insane to me, but that will fucking happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna be stealing it. I'm gonna be doing it because I'm damn sure not fucking paying them for some goddamn mods.
I'm telling you what's happening right now.
And like the shit that they showed in the trailer, they show the Chinese stealth suit as one of their things that they made.
And it's been a
substantial
part. It's been an institution in the modding community.
Yes, there's always a Chinese stealth suit mod made.
Yeah.
In every fucking Fallout game. And there's one currently available for Fallout 4, and it looks damn near identical to the one that they made. And it has presumably damn near the same stats because it's based off of the one that actually was in the game in Fallout 3, I think, right?
And guess what?
So this is what they're going to do. Also, a modder releases a free mod that is successful and popular, and they are now going to be able to steal their fucking content. Bethesda is going to be stealing from the modders.
Yes.
They're going to be like, well, we made our own, and it's our own model and texture, sure, but it wasn't your fucking idea. If it was, it would have been in the goddamn game.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, well, it doesn't break the game. And it's like, it doesn't matter if it breaks the game because you sold us a broken game. It's a Bethesda game. You know it's going to be broken. And you're okay with it because it's such a good game.
And also, when I download user-created content for free, I am taking it upon myself as a part of that social contract to, if it breaks the game, fuck, it broke the game.
Yeah. So they're just going to be ripping off other people's ideas and charging money for it. And that is so fucking shitty. This is not good for the modders themselves in any way, shape, or form.
And it sets a dangerous precedent for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Right now, Bethesda is the only one who are spearheading this whole console mods thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
think about like what Rockstar did this week, shutting down the GTA 5 modding community, right?
Exactly.
And like, so it shuts down the single player mods that don't affect multiplayer, and it also affects the role playing servers that have been super popular on Twitch and stuff lately. And that's a big part of why the online game is still so successful.
Yes.
Also, they can keep selling those fucking cash cards.
Goddamn shark cards.
But what's going to happen when they realize, oh, we can just charge for mods, so we can just spend a little bit of time. Let's make our own role play mod, charge you another fucking $60 for it. For GTA Online roleplay that now you can do on Twitch officially.
And now there are more expansions for GTA Online than there are for The Sims. You got the nightlife roleplay expansion. You got the vacation time roleplay expansion. Like, it's really bad. Honestly, I don't think I can adequately express how scary of a time it is to...
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of negative repercussions.
It's gonna have a lot of bad drums, guys.
Some really shitty drumming, dude. This percussion is bad. But no, I mean, I think that the effects are going to be around for many years to come. I'm afraid that it is that they're doing it again because they started it with horse armor.
I was gonna say, let us not forget that all of this was their fault to begin with.
The
DLC, current state
of
DLC in the video game industry and microtransactions in the video game industry is directly on Bethesda's shoulders.
Yes. If you're too young to remember,
when something like this was shocking,
there used to be something called expansion packs that developers would sometimes release for mostly PC games.
Yeah.
And an expansion pack would be you go to the store and like you had to buy a whole new CD.
Maybe it was $30 instead of 60, $15 instead of 30.
Yeah, it was never the full price of a game.
Yeah.
And it always had a ton of content, and it was the early form of DLC, and that was cool, you know, because you'd be playing a game and you'd have been playing it for a year or two, and then you'd see, oh, there's a new expansion pack for this game. Fucking hell yeah, right on.
Shimmering Isles, what does that mean? I want to go there.
Yeah. And then they got the idea of DLC, where they were like, well, instead of an expansion pack, let's give them just one shitty little thing. And that shitty little thing was some fucking armor that you could put on your horse.
That was purely cosmetic. That was one of the sticking points.
Yeah, just cosmetic, had no gameplay effects whatsoever, but they were charging real money for it. And you couldn't go to the store and buy a disc with the horse armor. You just gave them your fucking credit card so that you could just download it and buy it right there through the game itself. And because of that, we have everything that we have now with microtransactions and DLC being ready the day that the fucking game is ready and getting nickeled and dimed on every little thing, you know, $3 for one fucking character instead of an expansion pack that just gives you a whole new roster of characters, you know, as far as fighting games are concerned. Like, so they started it all. What, you know, for better or for worse, I think it's mostly for worse, but we put up with it because there's been some good DLC that has come out for games, you know, in general in the past, and we just accept it at face value now that this is how it is. and they're gonna do that again, and we're gonna accept this paid mod shit as just how it is.
Yeah, people are already done talking about it, actually.
Yeah, but they're not going to be.
People are more outraged that Skyrim's being re-released on every conceivable platform, which is annoying. But
yeah, it's like, waste your fucking time. Who cares? Sure, people will buy it. Okay.
Yeah, but that's by no means egregious.
I've bought it, I think, like 3 times now. I'm good. I'm not gonna buy it anymore.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, clearly Bethesda is the biggest loser, and we
just spent so much time on paid mods. We're really upset about that.
Yeah, well, as we fucking should be.
No,
man.
I agree.
I think it's total fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that got me as heated as that in years. In years.
And how they just kind of sandwiched it in there right in the middle of the presentation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you motherfuckers.
The Creation Club.
And
they had a little jingle.
Yeah, and they showed it to you. You knew that you were spending real money on it, but they didn't talk about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like, oh, Pete Hines wasn't like, so, wow, I'm so proud to introduce. Like, there's a fucking reason that they did it that way this year.
Yeah.
That nobody talked about anything.
Yeah.
They just ran through all those fucking trailers.
Imagine being in that theater. Imagine like getting a ticket and waiting in line for the Bethesda E3 conference and just having that 35 minutes happen to you.
I would have hated it.
We
stayed up late to watch it.
We did stay up late to watch it, but we were still in the comfort of our own apartment.
Yeah, I was pissed after it was over. I was like, dude, I wish I would have gone to bed an hour ago. I would have had a slightly better Monday at work.
No, certainly. I was wrecked.
Oh, you had a way worse night. That was when you got locked out and shit, right?
Oh, yeah. I did get locked out of my apartment, and it's because I didn't buy the digital key mod. Tell
them why you got locked out and how you got back in, because like, it's really fucking funny.
Well, it's classic. I live in a gated community. But
I live in a gated community.
But the gate's not enough. The gate sucks. You can get through it in any manner of ways. You can just wait on somebody to leave and get in. But all of the buildings have a little digital lock where there's a key that you have on a fob with a little chip, and you put it in there like a hotel room key. I left my keys in the apartment.
And that's the key to the front door of the building.
That's the key to the front door of the building. There are 4 apartments within that building.
Right, and those have just regular keys.
Those are regular brass keys, yeah. So, I did the classic slap test. I felt 2 lighters and a phone charger curl up in my pocket. Assumed it was my keys, and I was on my way. My keys were
the prongs on a phone charger. They can do that to you.
Yeah, well, and there was a nice, satisfying little clink and clack, and I was like, yeah, those are keys by all means. So I take the dog out and realize that I am locked out while I'm on the phone, and immediately get off the phone. I'm at 2% battery. I have to call the emergency line. The emergency line gives me a whole big spiel of an automated system and ends with, if you are leaving a message for the 24-hour maintenance person, it will get to him immediately. But if you are calling about a lockout, please call a locksmith. No, first of all. And second of all, it's a digital lock. A locksmith is not going to have any type of tool to be able to make...
Well, I don't know, they might. A modern locksmith.
With the 2% battery on my phone, I managed to look it up, and it wasn't looking great.
Okay.
I attempted to break into my second floor apartment by jumping from a fence post to my balcony.
Yeah.
That didn't work. That fucked up my arms quite a bit, but it's just out of reach. The design's actually really good. Nobody's getting into my apartment. Eventually, I decided, after knocking on a few windows very lightly, that I was going to tie the dog to the fence post.
I can't believe you knocked on people's windows.
I knocked on the window of the one individual that I knew.
Oh, okay.
Or at least I know his first name, and I know he is friendly.
How come you didn't hit the buzzer? Do you guys not have a buzzer?
There is no buzzer. No, there's no way to be buzzed
you have to
into the building.
Call and then text a thing.
Well, all the gate code does is get you in the gate. It has nothing to do with the building. You have to have somebody on the inside, or you have to have the fob. So I eventually tied up my dog and walked across the complex until I was far enough away that he began barking and woke up the individual who he was standing next to. Luckily, everything was fine and good. But
Oh my god, that's so funny though.
I did leave a message for the maintenance guy in which I offered him a $20 cash tip if he could break protocol and let me in. And he showed up an hour later after I had gotten in.
You were like, too late.
Yeah, I completely didn't give him the cash. I was like, well, that was going to be for services rendered, pal.
Pizza's 10 minutes late, bro. No tip. That's really fucking funny, dude. So you had just a really shitty night. It's, again, probably your mind wasn't, where it should have been because you were still reeling from paid mods.
Yeah, and I had nightmares about it. Pete Hines and Todd Howard were like banging my mom. It was all.
I think the other biggest news was Nintendo's.
Well, I was gonna say my Monday, it started out pretty shitty, but you know what I was looking forward to was Nintendo's presentation.
Yeah.
I thought, man, there are gonna be some good things to come from this, and boy, was I wrong.
No, I don't know. I think that there were some good things to come from it.
Did you enjoy the JPEG?
I did enjoy the JPEG, yeah, and the actual footage of the other Metroid game.
It was. I agree with you that it was hard for me to see, but I don't have as much of an attachment to Metroid as you do, and I don't trust Nintendo anymore to get something like that right.
I don't know.
We were excited about Star Fox 3DS too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just been burned before, man.
I was also excited about them finally acknowledging, at least, even though they didn't have anything to show for it, that they're developing a console Pokemon.
Yeah, that's good. I hope that looks the way that I want it to. I hope it's just not like a port.
Yeah,
of sorts.
Well, I think that it won't be. I think the fact that they had nothing to show for it, because they would have shown it if they did, suggests that it's not going to be like the rumored Pokemon Star, because we're already getting Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Right.
So I don't think it will be a port. I think that it'll be its own fucking game. Its own generation. Be completely
honest with you, that was such a throwaway thing that I forgot that it happened until just now.
I think it was pretty clearly, it was right at the very beginning. It was just like a dude from Game Freak saying, oh yeah, we're working on a core RPG Pokemon for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, which is
now
something.
Please enjoy the presentation. And I think that they did it as for some of the backlash or like not even really backlash, but just the total lack of interest in the week before when they did their Pokemon.
It was very lukewarm reception.
Yeah. It was like, who gives a shit about anything you're saying right now? So they're like, oh, fuck, okay, this is what they really wanted. So let's let them know that we are coming.
Let's keep excitement up by letting them know that they eventually will get what they want.
Which is good on them. I mean, to add that or whatever.
I don't disagree with that, but
that could be what makes me buy a Switch potentially. Like,
if I can't play it on my dust collecting Wii U.
Yeah. Oh no, you wouldn't be able to. Oh, I see what you're saying, because of Breath of the Wild.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that's really cool. I think that Metroid 4.jpg was still also a really good announcement. Like, I'm okay with them acknowledging that these things are pretty early, but they want to let us know as quickly as possible that it's happening, because I feel like that's a direct reaction to the criticism that they don't get it and that they don't get what we want. They're like, listen, we do get what you want. There's some very specific things you guys have been asking for. 2 of them we are working on right now.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'll meet you halfway there. I agree. But I feel like you're giving them more credit for showing us nothing and giving it a name than you are criticizing them for them showing us stuff that is nearly complete that is not good.
What are you talking about? Mario?
I'm talking about Mario Odyssey, and I'm talking about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
That was a part of Ubisoft's announcement. So Mario Rabbids, first off, Rabbids are fucking horrible. They're the minions of the fucking gaming universe. They're obnoxious.
I'm more perfect.
And I get that kids like them, and that's why they're doing it, I guess. But what really pisses me off is that game looks really good. I love the art style for it.
The art style is what really got me interested in it.
Yeah, and I think that the gameplay, when I realized that it was a fucking XCOM game, oh my god, I love XCOM so much. I was about it. Like, I thought that this could do for the Mario franchise what Legend of the Seven Stars did.
Yeah.
Right? The RPG, which is like bringing that world into such a totally different genre that it had never been to before and knocking it out of the fucking park by doing it. But it is... I mean, it might still do that. It might be really successful, and it will probably be a really good game, but I cannot stomach and get past the fucking rabbits. I wish it was just a Mario XCOM game.
Yeah. I would get through
seeing like the dumb rabbit version of
Peach
all the other characters.
And Luigi.
Can you here's my question. How many party members do you have at once? And can you just pick all the regular Mario characters and not even bring rabbits with you?
It didn't appear to be the case. Like, it looks as if Mario might be your squad leader who's present the entire time.
Do they have permadeath like in XCOM? Can I play Mario plus Rabbids Iron Man mode and just purposefully kill off all 4 of the Rabbids as quickly as possible?
Mario's at the bar back at the base, just knocking them back one after the other. How could he let all of his men?
He sees the rabbit eviscerated in front of him, and he like freaks out for 3 turns, and he's just firing blindly like at Yoshi.
A bunch of fireballs with faces on them.
But no, I mean that's my biggest problem with both of the Marios is that there's so much of it that looks so good and then so much of it that looks so bad to where I'm just fucking left confused and I don't even know where I stand. As far as Odyssey goes, it's that mixture of art styles, that the realistic Donk City and then the gorgeous Mario artwork of the other worlds that he goes to.
It is so pretty.
Yeah, and then like the realistic when they render stuff realistically, it doesn't look that good because the Switch is not that powerful and because Nintendo is not that good at making things look realistic. They have their own art style
that they've perfected.
Yes, the Mario 3D Land, 3D World, fucking Mario Galaxy, like it's always gotten better and better and better, and it's been a logical, cohesive progression of the art style. And then it's just they fucked it all with this one. Where you get it at times, and that's all I want. I don't want the realistic stuff. They showed off the dinosaur level where they're like in the forest, in that dark forest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like a Mario game at all. No, like when you look at the screen, because they redid the HUD, which is fine.
Sure. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but like that and the realistic art style and art direction being so tonally different from every other Mario game. Like, if you cropped out Mario at the center of that screen, you would not fucking recognize that at all as a Mario game. You would be like, what is with this new fucking Turok game?
Exactly. And if they were to replace those dinosaurs, like let's just take the dinosaur world scene. If they were to replace that same setup of all of the different dinosaurs, the greenery, whatever it happened to be, replace it with the dinosaurs that were introduced in Super Mario World that they have in that cohesive art style. Just replace all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to go to real dinosaur
and I
world.
want to play it.
Bring me back to Dinosaur Land, the setting of Super Mario World. Like, if you want a big giant T-Rex, introduce us to a giant Yoshi. That sounds awesome. Is there a species of giant feral Yoshi? I'm for it.
Yeah, if you want to show me a gigantic sprawling city at night, show me like a place
like
filled
Mushroom City, like where all the toads live, and it's a modern city. I would buy that.
And maybe you go to the seedy part of town, and there are a bunch of fucking Koopas. And
yeah, dude, we've seen that in some of the RPGs before.
Paper Mario had that,
and I buy it. That like not all the Koopas and Toads hate each other. Some of them get along. There's some shitty Toads, and there's some okay Koopas.
Yeah.
Like, expand on that a little bit and just keep that cohesive art style. The thing that I hate the most about it is the platforming looks so good. And it's been a really long time since we've had a real Mario platformer like that.
Yeah.
The 3DS games and then the 3D World games that the Wii U had, that is not the same thing as like a Mario Galaxy or a Mario Sunshine or a Mario 64. It's not like an open... I mean, it's not an open world, but you know what I mean? The levels are big and expansive and open, and there's a lot of different things you can do in them, and it's a lot of exploration and a lot of, you can choose to try to achieve the harder things if you want to, but you don't have to, and it presents a really interesting challenge.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Mario 3DS Land... in order to beat the game, you have to be able to beat every single level. So that means every single level is designed so that anybody can beat it, which means there's no challenge. And then you see like an expert speedrunner play something like Sunshine or Mario 64, and they're pulling off moves that are so fucking good and require so much skill. And some of the stars that you didn't need to beat the game in those games, demand that you possess those skills.
Yes.
And it's cool that it gives you the option to partake of that challenge if you want to. And it seems like this game is going to be, with that mindset behind it.
Well, it looks like this one's designed with a single player in mind. Keep in mind, for the past few 3D
That's
Land,
true.
3D World games, it's been designed for up to 4 players. There's not a whole lot of streamlined, very focused, challenging platforming design that you can do when you're like, okay, we're going to have 4 people all working together to try to do this stuff. We can't have this narrow little thing that would be only good for one person concentrating on the game. And it looks like that's what they've gotten back to with Odyssey. Now, I remember when they revealed a lot of the gameplay, you were very upset about the hat.
I thought the hat was a stupid, unnecessary addition when they first showed it, not this year at E3, but was it last year when they did their Switch announcements? Yeah, that's when they first showed it.
Yeah.
When they were showing all the new Switch games. I thought the hat was dumb because it was just like you throw out a hat. Who cares?
Well, you had the ability to use the hat itself
as like a platform.
Yeah.
Sure. And that as it could be another tool in the toolkit, but with the scope of what they showed us then, I thought it was a really dumb, unnecessary idea. But then what they showed us at E3, that you can use the hat to control enemies, I think that's fucking awesome.
It's a new mechanic.
Yeah, that's a really cool, awesome new mechanic. When that bullet bill comes out and he throws it at the bullet bill and then you're steering the bullet bill around to knock down bricks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fucking cool. I'm so about it.
And it makes you need to look at your environment to think, okay, I can't even solve the. I know there's a puzzle here. I can see the puzzle, but I can't solve it as Mario. So look around. Who or what could I solve it as?
Maybe old Petey Piranha can tackle this problem. No, I think it's a cool idea now, but I love the 3D open platforming Mario games so fucking much, that I am gonna get a Switch and get this game. After seeing it at E3, which I guess means they did their fucking job, but God, I hope enough people at least criticize that weird, disjointed mixture of different art styles that do not gel well together, that they drop it for the next one.
Okay, I was gonna say for the next one is possible.
Yeah, and just give us the goods, you know, without the bads.
It's hard for them to do, man. I think that's a problem Nintendo's had for a while.
Yeah, right. It's like they get a genius idea, and it's like tacked on to that genius idea is a fucking garbage idea, and they cannot separate the two.
Well,
it's all one idea.
It's 70% garbage idea, and they dwindle that original genius idea and delivers 30% of it.
Yeah,
like the whole announcement of the games catalog that we talked about last podcast.
Yeah.
The potential for that is insane, but they are like, well, you'll have some NES games.
I mean, we don't know what they'll end up doing with that because they haven't explained it yet. Really.
Sure.
So it could be that they do the right thing. You will never know until it happens.
Yeah.
And by then it may be too late.
I don't know. I'm keeping my wallet in my pocket for now.
So was there anything else that you really, really pissed you off about E3, or was it mostly paid mods?
Square Enix is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. And, I know I'm the JRPG guy, so naturally I'm pissed that I didn't see anything about the 7 remake, but where the fuck is the Avengers project?
I don't know, dude. I was really disappointed. In our E3 predictions video, that was one of the things I was looking forward to the most, and it was very disappointing that we didn't get any information about it
Not even a
whatsoever.
whisper.
So, fuck you, Square Enix. I never really liked you that much to begin with. Spencer over here, though, he's a big fan.
You need to lock Crystal Dynamics in a room and and make sure they're getting things done, okay? Which that's what I don't even get, because I don't know, that developer has a reputation of being very communicative.
Crystal Dynamics?
Yeah. And
well, I guess. I don't know anything about them. I mean, I know what they've made, but...
Well, I mean...
I've never talked to them, is all I'm saying. I don't know how well they communicate.
In any case, complete lack of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which the longer that we go without having anything new and concrete, the more concerned I am, because Square Enix built up a bit of goodwill with me after Final Fantasy 15, but I think I maybe let that get
games take time, dude. Final Fantasy 15 you ended up enjoying, and it took 15 years or however fucking long it was, right?
Yeah, but that we shouldn't, because it took 15 years and ended up being good, we should not use that to say,
whatever.
Well, maybe 15 years is an acceptable development cycle. That's not...
I think that there's no reason to say that 15 years is not an acceptable development cycle, if that makes sense.
I
know
agree in this.
We want everything and we want it now and we want it so fast, but that gets us all the bad Assassin's Creeds.
But what,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that specifically, because you know me, when people started freaking out about how last year at Bethesda's conference, it was like, oh, well, where's the new Elder Scrolls announcement? You got Fallout 4 last year. What are you working on now? It's like, no, games do take time.
Yeah.
Stop complaining about dumb shit. Like, you're not gonna get it until they have something to show you. But just from, I agree with you.
I think you're entitled.
I agree with you that we have no place to say that 15 years is not acceptable, because it's not our place to say what is or isn't acceptable. It'll be done when it's done. It'll be done when the creator is done creating.
Yeah.
But there is substantial evidence, for one thing, that quality can be pushed out within a timely manner. I'm thinking 5 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years as like the higher levels of from announcement to release is what I'm willing.
There's usually a lot more work that goes on prior to announcement as well.
I know. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm saying from they let us know what's happening and they knew what they were doing when they let us know it was happening. So they probably should have had a bit more of a plan.
Yeah.
After the fact. But no, it's Final Fantasy 15 is such a special case though, because it's been 3 different games. So
maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake will go through 3 different ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's fine.
Maybe they'll end up actually going back to turn-based fucking combat.
That's fine. Tell us that's happening. Tell us.
I don't think they owe us anything. I'm not
saying they owe us anything. I'm saying if you don't want people to be shitty and lose interest, this is what's required. They don't owe it to me, just as I don't owe it to them to continue paying attention if they don't show me shit.
That's fair. I think that about does it. You've wasted another hour and a half to 2 hours of your day listening to Geekout Freakout. But hey, I know you enjoyed it, so please be sure to, just fuck the hell out of that like button.
Bing that bell!
Bing the bell. Fuck the like in a good way, do it, like it, and subscribe. That's the best thing. Make sure you subscribe. We're almost at 50 subscribers, dude.
Hey, congratulations to all 47 of you. You are a part of a very exclusive club called the Geekout Freakout Creation Club.
Yeah, and you can pay us for usually free content if you want. That's
absolutely. Fine. You can still get the free content elsewhere, but you can get it from us for money.
Like slightly lesser quality. It might break your YouTube. I don't know.
Maybe just a little bit, but it's fine.